Hi there, it's Melissa Vining here, and I'm really excited to be here with you today on the Cocoa Vanilla Studio YouTube channel. I'm creating a layout with the amazing Legendary collection, and here is a quick look at some of the products that I've pulled. I'm sort of looking at using up some scraps from the other layouts that I've made. Sometimes I find scraps are actually easier to work with than full sheets of paper. And then I have this amazing piece of paper here. And what I've done is, off camera, I have hand stitched with backstitch in white thread, and I've used 6 skeins of the thread, and I have stitched a snowflake. And when I made this, when I stitched it, well, I knew I wanted to stitch this paper, but I wasn't really sure how. And then I could see a snowflake in there, but I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out until I'd actually cut it out. So I stitched it first because I think it's easier to stitch when you're not limited by the edge of the paper. And then once it was stitched, I fussy cut around it. So in a way, I've kind of gone with the negative shape of that pattern, if that makes sense. If you have a look on the blog post and also at my photos at the end, you'll see, obviously in greater detail, exactly what I mean. So I've been inspired by the other ladies that do mixed media, and I have gessoed my paper in advance. I'm just using a white cardstock, and I've put clear gesso on it. And here I'm doing the packaging technique with some Lindy's Stamp Gang, or Lindy's Gang Magicals. I can't remember the colour, but it's a blue colour. It dries lighter than what it looks like here. I'm just using my paper towel, just using the edge of it to kind of dab up some of the excess water. And obviously, because there's gesso down, it's not soaking in. Well, that's the point of gesso, really, is to stop the paper getting warped from all the water that you add. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm adding some dimensional adhesive to my snowflake. Here you can see that it's dried and it is a bit lighter. That Lindy's Gang Magicals, that one in particular, is quite shimmery, which is lovely. And then I am just adding some Heidi Swap Colour Shine in gold onto my background. And I'm finding, this is a new bottle, and I often find it's a bit watery. I think if you watch my live for Cocoa Vanilla on Facebook, you would have probably heard me say that. So I'm adding some more, and I'm not sure if it's a combination of me not shaking the bottle enough and the sort of the watery layer sitting on top, or I'm wondering whether it's the gesso, because I made another layout today without gesso, and I just found that the gold was more vibrant. But it doesn't matter, because this is just a subtle detail in the background. I'm really wanting the focus to be on that snowflake and obviously my photos. So I've just added some white shimmery, I can't remember the name of the brand, but just some white mist as well, or ink. And it's very, very subtle. You can hardly see it, but I just think it adds to that sort of wintry look that I'm going for. So I've got 2 photos, and I took chairlift selfies, which annoyed my daughter in the end, because every time we went up the mountain, I would take these photos, and she said, "Mum, you're taking too many photos." But, you know, she'll be happy for it when she's older and looks back on these scrapbook pages that I make. So basically, I'm a snowboarder and she's a skier, and we live in Queenstown, New Zealand, and we're really, really blessed. They do school skiing. I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but they have been doing school skiing, and my son would normally come with us as well, but he had hurt his knee. And so basically I had a season's pass, and Azaria had a season's pass, and we just went up a lot of Saturday afternoons in the second half of the ski season. The first half was not good. It was mostly man-made snow, and then the snow came sort of around July, August, and then the rest of the season was really good. So we had some really awesome times together. And yeah, I'm the mum that has to take photos because I want the memories documented, and I want us to look back on this in the future, I guess, and remember. So so I've just glued my snowflake down. I've used double-sided tape and also some Nuvo adhesive, and now I am going through the die cut titles that I pulled. I didn't know what my title was going to be, so it was just a case of playing around. I thought about calling it Cool Fun, like with a play on the word cool, because it was pretty freezing up there. But in the end, I've decided to go with Hello Adventure. And this is actually the second layout that I've made that doesn't have any boys involved, and it's the second outdoorsy layout. The first one was in my Facebook Live, and I scrapped a photo of me mountain biking, or a selfie I took of myself while mountain biking. Obviously not mountain biking. I stopped the bike, got off and took a selfie, you know what I mean. And so this one, yeah, is quite girly because she's got pink ski suit on. And what I love though is that this collection can work for any outdoorsy layout really, and I think you could make it work for anything. And that's what I love about Zoe's collections. So here I'm having to add more foam to the back of this just to lift it up, because I have got the obviously I've lifted up the snowflake and I've also lifted up the photos, so I'm having to add this as well just to make it lift up. So those are just Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and I love them because they're quick and easy to use. I also use craft foam like everybody else, but when it's a small element like this, it's just easier for me to use a pre-made pop dot, I guess. So then I did think about calling it Cool Adventure or Love Adventure, but I've decided to go with Hello Adventure. And I'm just using that heavy metal roller just to hold down that title. It's not so that I can position anything straight, it's just because I need a bit of weight to make sure that title's adhered. And I do find that if you're gluing onto gesso and mixed media, you do have to add a bit of liquid adhesive. And that glue I'm using there is very quick drying, that red liner one, and so I quite like using that if I'm working with small elements, cut files, or anything that I want to quickly dry onto mixed media. So then when I looked at this, and I guess the position of my mixed media has determined where I've placed my elements, I thought that it was a bit unbalanced because I had that all those elements positioned probably above center. So I needed something to go on the bottom of the page, and I love this cut apart strip from the cut apart sheet. And so what I did was I wanted to make this look like mountains. Now I'm aware that obviously there's no peak, so you're not going to be able to, well, I suppose because I think about Coronet Peak and I think about Remarkables, which is our other ski field here in Queenstown, and I think of them as being peaks. And this does not look like a type of mountain that you could ski, snowboard on. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't want to have a peak on that paper because then I think it would draw attention away from the photos. So I just love that pattern on that paper. I wish it was a whole sheet. But I'm so glad I've used it, and it kind of looks like mountains too, like the light and shade that you might see on mountains. So then I don't need to add too much embellishment because I've got a lot going on, I guess, with the stitching. I wanted that to be the main feature, the snowflake, and obviously the photos. So I'm just adding a couple of stickers. One of them is a phrase sticker, and I think it says Adventurous Spirit. And then I'm just tucking this little ticket. It says limited edition. I've just roughed up the edge, or distressed the edge with my edge distresser. And I've just added some of those gorgeous clear stickers, which I absolutely love. Just add a bit of whimsy. And here I'm adding my journaling. I do not recommend writing on gesso. Luckily this pen is inky and could handle it, but if I'd used one of my sort of ballpoint pens, it wouldn't have handled it at all. So in retrospect I probably wouldn't have done this, but I wasn't really sure how else to add my journaling. But that's my final page. I hope you've enjoyed my process. Yeah, I'll definitely be sharing some more videos of my layouts, etc. on this channel. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again later in the month. Take care.